Welcome to Frequently Speaking. This is your host, Maxwellness. Now, here on this podcast, we're going to start to break down words that we speak outwardly and how their vibrations create what we frequently see. Now, in today's episode, we're going to delve into prison to peace. I have a great one for you today. Now, this is going to be based in freedom. So, if you've ever felt like peace was out of reach or you're being barred in some way from it, apply these three techniques at the end of this episode to unlock the body towards freedom and peace. Where is peace internally and how is it expressed externally? When an imprisoned mindset is held, it is expressed through the body. Before it gets to the body, what do these mental bars look like that seemingly keep us from peace? Limiting beliefs, influenced ideas, and time-bound thoughts can place us in a perspective that can project a 6x9 mental cell for self-image. What does this in our mind? And how is it that it starts to create distance between where we are, what we are capable of, and how we can get to where we want to be and our endless possibilities? In that space is the compounding narratives that begin to echo through the halls of this prison that begin to sound like affirmations to the central nervous system. As a coping mechanism, the mind begins to accept this narrative because this enables the ideas and structures of what and who we are to project a sense of peace so that we don't experience resistance. Pretty much accepting the state because it's the path of least resistance. These ideas become structures from thought. These thoughts become belief over time. This is the jumpsuit of cognitive dissonance we begin to wear. How do we free the mind and shed the jumpsuit of cognitive dissonance from the body? Well, what connects them? The central nervous system. Finding peace through the CNS is about how it's translated from thought to a feeling, electricity to emotion, and habit to action. Our minds speak with thoughts, and our bodies speak with actions. The common language between these two systems is the P. Perspective. That's what truly becomes the key. Spectating from behind the bars of these ideas is to say that you are the bars. Not physically, obviously, but mentally. You know you are standing in your own way, but why would you do that? In this same perspective, though, if you are behind the bars, then you're also in front of them, right? This means to say that you are already there where you want to be. You are the prisoner and the guard, freeing you from the penitentiary of past perspective and planting you in the present spectator's view easily. Now, this may not come off as very easily, but if we go with the notion and the narrative that we know that we are self-sabotaging, we know that we are limiting our beliefs, we know that we have imposter syndrome, we know that we are blah, 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 blah. All of these narratives are just reinforced by the central nervous system trying to protect something on the outside. So that same guard that is trying to protect and serve is the same prisoner that's being held by those bars that are there. You feel me? Choosing to close the distance from one side of the bars to the other is how we choose to bring ease to the perspective of what we are listening to in those halls. Bridging coherence from the electric fencing in of the mind to the energetic emotion of the body creates an unlocking of this cage and breaks the bars around your central nervous system to access that peace that was always present. Your present perspective is the key to unlocking your past prison. Giving it to the body through open narrative shifts like the spa technique and somatic listening can begin to bend the bars of your internal mentality to fortify the freedom of your current reality. I want to take you through 3 steps. These 3 steps are based in something that I love and something that I come from, which is the spa. I have a background in massage therapy. I have a degree in health science and a plethora of other accolades and certifications and, all those good things, right? But really what I started to form when I began to learn more about the central nervous system, more about the languages of our bodies, and more about translating those languages was that there's a lot of things based in simplicity, and the simplicity of what we normally do and our habits. So I love to leverage things. So when we normally have situations that come up and, a person is stressed, or you may be experiencing tension in the body, or you're annoyed, or you're angry, you're frustrated, what do? You go to the spa, right? I mean, if you can afford it. So this is something that really started to begin to shape how you can address the central nervous system. So you may have heard in a few of my other episodes me use the spa technique. Now, there's a couple different approaches depending on which system you're talking about. And in this, we're going to talk about these 3 steps, which are signal, puncture, and align. This is the spa technique. Now, this is really based in more like cognitive behavior therapeutics, but also central nervous system and somatics. So signal is when you're experiencing anxiety, the first thing that's required is to be able to recognize and see the signs that you're experiencing. You need to be able to label it, for example, like say to yourself, this is just my anxiety, or this is my fear habit again, or this is my what if thinking habit again. It begins to automatically activate more of our thinking brain to have a clear thought about what we are actually experiencing, a clear thought about the silly thought. These are some signs that you can use. You can say this is an obsession. This is a compulsion. This is my OCD. This is me tripping. This is my worry addiction. These simple signs can begin to give us that clear thought process that we really need to communicate with the mind in that moment in time so that we can dissolve ourselves from that silly thought initially. In step 2, this is about puncturing. So now once you notice that signal, you want to be able to puncture into that. Now, in this step, you talk back to the fear with a feeling of rational idea, and this begins to help to puncture and discredit the original fearful thought and feeling. This is translating a feeling and a thought that can be more malleable for the bars to bend. So really it's not about, talking yourself out of it. It's really identifying your intelligence that's at a deeper level. You don't have these fears for no reason at all. It's just sometimes they become really complex, and as those bars begin to harden and they begin to believe that they can't bend, this is where you have to talk back to it and start to discredit. You begin to break the integrity or puncture the integrity of those bars. You can remind yourself of facts. These fears never actually happened. My sense of value is stronger than the fear. If something like this did happen, I know I can handle it. I have handled more frightening situations in the past. And also, I don't ever truly feel completely out of control of myself. In step 3, of align, this is the most important step, and change won't occur until you can shift your thoughts and attention from the intrusive thought and resist doing what the feeling brain wants you to do, and instead do something else that feels peaceful. Here you have reduced the belief in the threat to a degree sufficient enough to allow yourself to shift focus towards peace. Now that you've punctured that and you've started to wear down the integrity of that thought because you already signaled that, hey, this is what it is. This is the proof that it is what it is. And now we need to align with the actual feeling on the other side. We need to align with that feeling of freedom that's on the other side of those bars. And if that freedom is peace, so be it. Now, some things that you can do to align are intrinsic breath work. So a short one I like to do is 3 long, slow, deep breaths and allow this to unwind time. So going past that point, I'm not just saying like, not a long, regular breath like that. This is a long, slow, and deep breath. So you're breathing either into the pelvis, into the stomach, maybe choose an organ like your pancreas, if you know where that is. That's on your left side of your body, right below your ribs and your diaphragm. Focus on these deep breaths and really push past the point of your normal inhale. Another thing that you can do to help align is to shift attention to the present moment. This may look like feeling the taste of your tongue or looking at a fine detail of something in front of you. So I know that sounds really weird to feel the taste of your tongue, but this helps bring you into the body. It bridges the senses, gives you a somatic touch to it, and it also brings that same peace feeling that's in the mind into the body. Another thing is thinking about and or doing something pleasant or pleasurable. The more positive it is, the more effective it's going to be. So this can look like in that moment doing something that is going to provide you pleasure. Now this, for me, I like to smile. So whenever I'm feeling these thoughts kind of shift me and pull me, I signal it, and this is automatic, like a process for me now because I've done it so much. So when I start to notice myself smiling, I can allow myself to sit and be in that pleasure and that pleasantry and allow that to bring me into that present, and that feeling already corresponds and it already communicates that I'm in peace. And the last thing that I would recommend or encourage you to do is focus on your internal compass of peace. Remind yourself that this is happening for you and not to you. Sometimes it's not easy enough to say, you know, I'm in forgiveness and I am in gratitude and I am free and I am safe in my body. Sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes we need a bigger hit than that because, to be quite frank, we're fucking smart, you know? And just saying I am this in that moment in time doesn't necessarily shift. Now, I'm all about affirmations and I do believe in those things, but sometimes the words are just one language, and it is the language of the mind. And if your mind is really fortified and it really has control over the body, then simply saying these words isn't really going to shift much in that moment in time. So something a little bit more practical is bringing yourself to an internal compass of what that peace is. Remember a time where you felt that peace. Maybe if you were at a park and you just had like the best day and you saw a dog running and you saw a butterfly and a little kid smile. Bring yourself back to that moment. Bring that memory up and allow it to flood your brain, to flood the senses of your visualization, your imagination, your sensations that are coming through your body, and allow that to overpower and leak into that puncture that you've just created. If you like this episode and would like to explore more perspectives like this with me as we get a bit more intimate and intricate look into our internal vibrations, be sure to tune in to next week's episode and subscribe for more. Until then, keep frequently speaking what you frequently see.